Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. Mariano has written to me whether I could talk about faith, as he is facing a difficult health situation. It's a subject that is turning around in his head. Faith. What is faith? Is it simply blind belief? Is it simply a conditioning, a brainwashing? All that stuff can also be there. But faith is something else. Faith is the capacity to connect with that essence. We can have faith in God. And if we are capable of really opening up to that divinity, there is a sense of security that is there. Something that is not a construct in the mind, but that awareness that there is something untouched by everything, and if we connect with that, we are safe. Then this faith can manifest in different ways. We can have faith in God. We can have faith in a teacher, in a guru, or we can have faith in ourselves, in our own capacity. Actually, no matter what flavor that faith is taking, we are always touching that same divine essence. Somebody who has faith in the guru is actually not, I as a person have faith in another person because I think that person knows better, has better ideas, but it's somehow the guru represents that same divinity that is in ourselves. And if we are opening our heart to the guru and feel that there is something solid, something we just can trust, then we are touching that divine essence that is the same as our own essence. We can have faith in God. It depends the people. If that devotional attitude is there, when somebody opens the heart towards God, then also that sense of being protected, being at home, that there is nothing really to worry about, can come up. Even if we cannot define God, maybe our religion defines God, gives all kinds of attributes, says there is a form or there is no form, but the attributes usually are there. Also, in the three Semitic religions where they don't want the form, they give a lot of attributes. It doesn't matter whether we have faith in God, totally impersonal, abstract, formless, or whether somehow we project a form. If that is easier to open the heart, it's perfectly valid, because if that real faith comes, it's also touching that same divinity. That same divinity one touches when one has faith in the Guru, and that same divinity when we have faith in our own potential. And it's not something that we just can produce artificially, that we have now full faith. That's something that can happen, that usually happens gradually. But we can open up. We can just either be in the intellect and argue and close our heart, or we can, with childlike innocence, open up. And even if that doesn't produce a full, complete faith, there is that feeling there. There is that something there that we cannot quite explain, and yet there is deep down a certainty. There is something that may be faith enough to make the first step to open up more. And as we go ahead with the increasing experience, the faith is also increasing. Some people simply have that capacity, but not everybody has it so fully. But as we sincerely open up in no matter what way towards truth, towards the light, towards divinity, the sense of existence, then by taking the first step, there comes an increased certainty, enough to take the second step. And gradually, the faith is increasing along with our experience. Nisargadatta was a very special case. He was a very simple man, barely educated, from the village, coming to Bombay, then getting married and trading his business, rolling bidis, selling bidis. And in his 30s, he met his guru, and he was like an innocent child. He simply didn't doubt his guru. He thought that he cannot have any benefit by telling me stories. And he opened up totally to what his guru told him. And that innocent, pure faith in his guru helped him with his own intensity in a relative short time to find his experience about himself, about the world, about everything totally transformed. I mean, not everybody is equipped like that. Usually, growing up in this society, we are charging ourselves with a lot of stuff that stands in the way to that pure childlike innocence that Nisargadatta had. But so what? Then we start where we are, equipped with what we have. And everybody has that connection. It's never absent. And we can argue about and block it off and think it's silly, or we can sincerely open up in the direction of truth. And invariably, some feeling, some experience starts to be there of a certainty. Yes, there is something that gives us encouragement to continue. And as we continue, invariably, this certainty is growing. Sometimes one may go through difficult situations, and then people have often the tendency to take over completely with the intellect with the mind and say, oh, in spite of what I did, and if there was a God, this shouldn't happen to me. But it's just mental chatter. If they would stop and look at themselves and open up and relax in that, they invariably would become aware. Yes, whatever I'm screaming around in my mind, deep down, I know there is something unshakable there. Somehow I had the grace when I met Amma to simply have faith in her. After that, as time passed, and I felt I'm struggling, not much is happening. Often I was angry with her. Sometimes I was arguing in my mind and she's not caring about me, but no matter what, the mind was spitting up all this personal stuff that tried to create troubles. Sooner or later, I always came back, no. I have faith that she knows what she's doing because she functions from another perspective. There is a conscious connection to that same essence that I'm looking for. That is certainly with me, but that is not conscious with me. And that faith helps me to simply keep going. Mariana, you have not an easy situation with your physical condition. Faith, certainly, if you cultivate it, will make it easier, will help you to deal with it. It may help you to cure it. And even if you are not getting totally cured, then the faith helps you to connect with that which is deeper and more important than the physical situation. But if you have faith, sometimes it's miraculous how a body can repair itself. It's like then we stop standing in the way that the natural function of the body's regeneration can take over and repair things that are creating troubles, that are defect. So by all means, cultivate your faith. Faith in God, faith in yourself, believe in your own strength, believe in your own potential. Recently, I have repeatedly talked about this because I think it's totally important right now that we start to take responsibility for our story, for our life, start to have more faith in ourselves and our strength, in our potential to become clearer and being less easily manipulated. Because there are strong forces who try to manipulate the whole humanity. And we can neutralize that by having more faith in our own strength, having faith in God. But if somebody doesn't want to connect even with the concept of God, faith in oneself is enough. If somebody has that fortunate situation of having a guru whom they have faith that he is really a guru, then it may make it a bit easier. Have that faith. It makes us stronger, it makes us clearer, it helps us to go on in situations where we rather would give up if that strength of faith wasn't there. Again, I say we cannot artificially produce it, but we can prevent it by just sticking totally on the mental intellectual level, arguing against it, or we can make ourselves available, open up to that. And then when we make the first step, it becomes already a bit easier and it's increasing, and we make the second step, and so it goes on. Okay, then I drop the subject. I hope you have not too much noise in the microphone because it's quite windy, but it's coming from the backside, so it should be okay. But I guess my picture is a bit shaky. And I'm asking you, my friends, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something? You're welcome.
Hi, hello.
Hello, Leora.
Yeah, I can't wait because you spoke just about something that has been on my mind in connection to what is happening in Jerusalem, in Israel. And actually, somebody wrote something about the meaning of life.
Yeah.
He said specifically when one gets older, it becomes more, yeah, like the person becomes more occupied with this question. And he quoted Viktor Frankl, who was in the camp in Germany or somewhere in Europe in the Second World War. So one of the things he said is exactly actually what you said now. Viktor Frankl said that the purpose of life is to grow so that you have faith in yourself, to take your own decisions, and yeah, whatever you just spoke. So it really touched my heart now. And okay, so I don't believe them any longer. I don't believe them any longer. Specifically, I called a friend this week who is a researcher, and I really trust his integrity. He also practices the Dharma. And I asked him, is there a real danger that all our enemies, like countries around, I I do it so
Yeah,
enemies, yeah,
right.
are just waiting there to start a war with Israel? Because somehow I started feeling that, yeah, there is a situation, difficult situation,
Right.
scary. It's all right. I mean, it's all there. But somehow something in me told me that a war is not so simple. It's not that somebody's just waiting. There's more to it, like interests and all kinds of things that I don't even understand how it works. But I didn't say all that to him. I only asked him, and he said, he just told me he didn't think so. He just told me that it's good that the Israeli army should keep its strength, and now it's a bit more than a bit not so great. But it's not that somebody is sitting there and going to start a war anytime when the army becomes weaker. It's more complicated than that.
Right.
Yeah. So I know the situation is bad. I know that the solution, so-called, is not just like in in a hand reach hand. It will take time. I know the situation is really bad. Meanwhile, everybody around me is living their lives just like going abroad, going on trips in Israel. It's summer vacation now. People do their things. Everything seems normal. Some people don't even care. Some people are worried and like me, aware of what is. But part of me does not believe. I mean, it's too much talking. And I know it helps people when the situation is like that. It helps people to talk, to explain, to talk about facts, to be right about it. But situation is so much complicated. Just want to say one more thing. I sat with my daughters-in-law yesterday and we spoke about the connection between spiritual and material.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them said that it's not connected and it's not connected. So yeah, so this is what I feel about what I just described. Like there's so much science fiction there. There's so much illusion there. Yeah. Making up facts, making up stories, making up dangers. Yeah.
Well, it is a difficult situation, not only for Israel, the whole world is in a difficult situation. And actually, we are already in the midst of a war, even if people are not quite aware of it. It has been there for a few years. And right now, in many places, everybody tries to behave like everything is fine now, but deep down, everybody feels something is totally out of kilter. Something is not quite right. I cannot make you predictions what is going to happen if this or that is going to happen externally. There is a tremendous energetic struggle going on, that opposite forces, forces that are destructive and want to basically destroy life and whatever rests totally control. And there are beautiful, lightful forces equally much at work that are step by step working for it, that something can change profoundly and bring about a more peaceful, more harmonious world.
I'm just going with you. I'm just going with you to turn off the
Yeah.
gas. So I'm with you. Yeah, fine. Thank you. So yeah.
Now, it's good that you inform yourself, but you need not spend your time worrying now what is happening. That doesn't mean you should now push it away like most of the people and think, okay, I don't care, and superficially hope that by just focusing on superficiality, then it's not there. It's there, something very profound is struggling, it's going on. What does it mean for the individual? Actually, it's a terrible situation. At the same time, it's a great opportunity for, in that tremendous intensity that is there, if we take the trouble to turn the attention back to the source, then we are getting so much energetic support. The other side also, if you're opening up to negativity and destruction, there comes a lot of support in that direction. So, but it's a great opportunity to really go deeper in yourself. In a more harmonious and peaceful time, it may take more of an effort to not just float along and be conscious, but now there is such an intensity. If we decide and take the trouble to sincerely have a good look at ourselves, it is tremendously efficient. So it's a terrible situation. At the same time, it's a great opportunity. And it's better to mainly focus on that than make the best out of it.
Right. I understand.
And so for that, it's good to cultivate the faith, whether it's faith in God or whether it's faith in your own potential, that you are capable of, no matter what strange things that are going on in the world, that you are capable of bringing the attention back and dive deeper into your own resources.
Sometimes it feels a bit foggy, like permitting myself to be in this atmosphere of not knowing, at the same time knowing that there's so much happening. But yeah, permitting myself, not knowing is in a way is a new situation for me, new something experience for me. I become very speechless.
Yeah.
Not here when I speak with you, because I feel you understand so much. And I also feel that because I'm like that, everything that happens like comes directly into this, touches directly into this space. So I really have to take care to not get involved too much with what's going on around me, because I'm speechless. So, and the energy is not so great. So I have to really, again, remind myself it's okay. It's okay to be where you are.
Right. You don't have to be afraid of going out and having contacts and being involved. But even when you do so, remind yourself to connect with yourself, whether you are alone or whether you are in a crowd, whether you are keeping quiet or whether you are involved in a discussion, that whenever you remember that make that in your priority. And then we can also feel that there is something so solid and untouchable, then it doesn't scare you if you don't know. But because we don't know a lot of things, the more and more and more things come to the surface, not in the mainstream information, but in the underground information. But the more comes up, the more one becomes aware there is so much more going on and we don't know. And that's not the reason to despair and become fearful. But okay, I'm not on top of the situation externally because I know so little about what is really going on, but I have always the possibility to come home. And here you're safe. Nothing can touch that. That is so important now to remind ourselves. And then you can be involved in discussions. You can be involved with what's going on, or you can stay alone. You do that which comes naturally to you. Both is all right.
Yeah, no, discussions yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay, for now.
Okay.
I
Wish you
think you've
well.
answered my, thank you. Thank you, Werner. Thank you.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome. Hello, Dayal.
Hello, Werner. I want to
Sorry, Dayal, you are breaking up. I hardly can hear you.
ask about. Okay, just a minute.
I couldn't get
Is
any.
it better now?
Oh, yes, much better.
Now is it better?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So often you give us a hope that good forces is helping us, that the situation will be improved at some point. But I think that we are in the working camp, as you said sometimes.
Yes.
And it is not heaven, it's samsara. And maybe we should not hope that situation will be improved. We should thinking about how escape from this world, because in this world anyway we're going to getting older, getting sick, and will die anyway. So maybe no need to give hope that soon everything will be better and better. What do you think about this?
Right. Of course, you're right. It's not that you should put your hope and security totally that this world is now turning into a heaven. It's an opportunity to learn and to grow. And the main thing is that you learn to know, to experience directly that there is something that is not a victim of this situation, that is actually not even incarnated in this world. We don't, like you said, from the traditional way, we have to escape from this world, from this samsara. But actually, yourself is never really in samsara. It's only our projection here in this world. And the job is that so-called escaping, the job is to become aware you never were in real bondage. It's all imagined. Now, that doesn't contradict at all that on the material level, that struggle is there. And there are very destructive forces. And to help the positive, the lightful, the constructive force by simply becoming more aware of it and bring yourself more in touch of that creativity and radiate that. That is something that is helping yourself becoming self-aware. And incidentally, it has also the effect that it radiates something very constructive and beautiful in the world. And somehow we are in a time, in a passage of change. And something harmonious and beautiful can come out of it. Because if that positive energy was not there, there would be, it would be going towards total destruction. And somehow that is not the divine will, I think, that this, this world is going to be destroyed like this now. So that opening up, that something can change to the better in the world, and opening up to your own indestructible true nature that is not a victim in samsara, are not two opposite movements, but two aspects of in the same direction. So it's not a contradiction.
Yes, okay, Werner. I agree with you. Thank you, Hari Om.
Hari Om, you're welcome. Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come in?
I would have a question. I'm not opening my camera because do you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Hello, Anita. And you
Yes.
don't want to open your camera because you don't want to see the picture that we see the picture.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
I just have a short question about what you just said before, that the essence is, or did you say, I'm not sure if I understood it right, that the essence of who we are is not really incarnated.
Yes, I said that.
Yes. What does that really mean in a practical sense?
In a practical sense, it means that actually if we turn the attention back to our its sense, then we can become aware that all this struggle about we are in bondage and we have to struggle and get out of bondage is not really true, that your true nature is never in bondage. That your being, your divine being has projected an aspect into this time-space continuum, and there a personality has formed itself in with this aspect of your true nature. But actually this personality is only a reflection of what you really are. And as long as we are identifying totally with the person and think me as a person have to struggle and get better, then we are in a mill that happens, that ends never. But if we learn to turn the attention back to the essence, then we become aware, okay, this is just a magic show, this world. And I, as a being, project into it to gain experience, to learn, to grow, to outgrow this place. But I, as a being, am not really incarnated in time and space. I'm timeless, spaceless, prior to all that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that means also that who I really am will never be like projected outward, or if only in that sense that it will always be like colored or flavored with my personality.
Whether I'm not quite sure whether I understood the question. Do you want to say whether maybe a possible future projection would not be colored with your Anita personality or not, or would? Is that the question?
Well, yeah, I think that it will always be colored with the personality.
No, but it's not the person, Anita, that will be reborn, that will reincarnate. You being may project in this world, in other worlds. And it's
but
not,
I mean in this life now. I mean in this life.
in this life, as long as you are appearing as Anita, that flavor will be there. But you can become aware that this Anita is not really what you are, but just the role that you are playing in this theater. And then still that flavor will be there, but then you live your life like an actor playing the role on stage, playing the role good, giving the flavor of the personality that the actor is playing, but deep down always knowing I'm not really this person. This person is just the role that I'm playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Thank you for this clarification. Yeah.
So when you, as long as you are appearing in that form, certain aspects will be there, certain aspects will be disturbing, and it's good to work on them, that they stop disturbing you. Other aspects will be there, which will be typical Anita, and they don't disturb. So you have no reason why you should do something about them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just have this how to say this desire maybe that oh, I'm not sure that this clear sense of who I am is just, I don't know, it's just more showing up, or I'm not sure. Not that I want to appear enlightened, you know, no, not like this, but just to be of you know, to that other people and me can enjoy, and in a way to be of, yeah, be I don't want the words. Be of service in a way, in you know, in the sense of the true self is shining through, something like that.
Anyhow, I know what you basically want to say. And of course, one would like that the story is improving. But the story is not improving most of the time by struggling to improve the story. But simply, if you detach from the story and turn the attention back to your true nature, then you become aware there is that joyousness, that sense of fulfillment you are looking for is already there. And then it has the tendency also to express itself more in the external story. But as long as we struggle and try to catch it in the external story and somehow build it up there, make the circumstances responsible for our well-being and our sense of fulfillment, then we are always getting sooner or later disappointed because it's not where it's coming from.
Yes, thank you.
Connect with yourself.
Yeah.
And then let it shine out. And then the story becomes lighter and more joyous all by itself.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Shall we leave it like that?
Yes, yes, thank you.
All right. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there somebody else who would like to come in? You're welcome.
Hi, Werner.
Hello, Andreas.
How to relate to a certain feeling of sadness, like on rainy days, in a lot of like today, or when it's cloudy and very humid, I get a little, yes, a lot of times I feel a little, yeah, or a persistent sadness in me. If I really turn to it, it disappears, but like it comes back as soon as I don't, if I stop like focusing. And yeah, it's like an underlying tone that is there the whole time. How to deal with that?
There are two ways sadness is experienced. Either it's there just as an experience, as a feeling, or then we hook into it emotionally more and turn it also into self-pity. Poor little me feeling so sad. That one is draining, that one is destructive. If you see that sneaking in, then you are well advised that you watch that and you send that away. But if it's simply sadness that is there, basically nothing wrong with that experience. If you accept sadness and then you look at sadness, what it is doing, without getting into self-pity, without in the sadness think, oh, I'm sad, oh, I'm so poor little me is sad again. But okay, there is sadness. It's an experience. And if we don't resist, suddenly it's not that negative an experience. It can become very beautiful and expansive in itself. It can be a conduct to your nature, like anything else, accepting sadness as an experience, not making a story out of it, but simply accept, all right, there is sadness, pure sadness. And you watch it, and you connect with that which makes the experience possible, and then the very experience, accepting the very experience that we usually resist, can help you to dive deep into your own resources.
Yeah, usually there's some kind of resistance against it. I don't know if I don't think I get too much lost in self-pity. It's just that I don't like it. I'd like it much more if the sun is shining and I feel energetic and
Yes,
joyful.
right. You don't have to artificially try to like it better. Some people like rain and cloudy weather very much, but if you don't like it, you don't have to artificially try to like it. But you can accept that on this level, things are sometimes the way you like it and sometimes the way you don't like it. However much we're struggling against it, that's how it's going to be. So better accept it also if the situation, if the circumstances are less to your liking. It doesn't change one little bit in your nature. And then accepting an unpleasant, less pleasant situation can actually help you to bypass the resistance, the functioning of the personality very much. If we have a certain trait and then the circumstances are against it, then the habit is to immediately block and say, no, 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 why, again? always, always I have to experience that. But if then you can do the opposite, okay, accept, all right, it's raining, I like it less than when the sun shines, brings up rather sadness, I like it less than when I'm joyous. But you can accept, all right, sadness. It's also an experience. It comes, it goes. And if you don't resist, suddenly it's not a negative experience. Even if you maybe like it less than the other one, but the very fact that you then not go into the usual resistance of the personality, as the reaction of the personality helps you to bypass that personal limitation and that very intensity that is created because of that can help you to dive that much deeper into your own self. So welcome the rainy weather and the sadness, and make use of it to dive deeper into your own resources.
Okay, I try.
You're welcome to do so. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari.
Or was there something else you wanted to talk?
No.
No? Okay. Hari Om. Hari
Are
Om.
you?
Every moment there is that choice, whether we turning towards the self, towards the source, or whether we are getting fixed with our attention in the continuous changing manifestation. We may not have the power to control how much we are successful, but that choice is there every moment, whether we turn in this direction or that direction. How much we are successful may be influenced by so many other things that is not under our control. How the circumstances are unfolding, maybe very little of it under our control. Our input is just one aspect of many aspects that come together to produce the situations. But what is always there from moment to moment? Am I getting totally identified with the situation that I'm experiencing, either enjoying it or resisting it? Or am I turning the attention back to that which makes the experience possible? That opportunity is there all the time. And especially situations we don't like so much can be extremely helpful if we have that presence of mind that instead of indulging in our reactions and resisting, but accepting, okay, it's an opportunity, it's a challenge. So let me make use of that challenge. And on this material level, this will go on. You can be detached, you can be immersed in the self, but externally in the manifestation, that changing process is there all the time and it continues. Sometimes the situation is pleasant, sometimes the situation is unpleasant. But if we learn to be rooted in that immovable aspect, then we don't suffer. Then we accept, okay, this is a pleasant situation, it's there for some time, and especially also we accept when it's gone. When it's going, that we don't try to hold it and think, oh, I want to hold it. It's that also causes strain and suffering. If we let it go, the pleasant, and then something unpleasant comes, and we don't hold it because it shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be like this, but accept, okay, it's there. We experience it. Because we are experiencing, we are connected with that life, with that essence, and we can then a negative experience, an unpleasant situation is no big deal. It comes, it's there for sometimes, it goes. We can get lost in a pleasant situation, totally identified, or we can get lost in an unpleasant situation, totally identified, or in both situations, we may remember, okay, there is that which makes the experience possible. And the happiness, the joyousness we are running after is not really out there, it's bubbling up out of our own selves. I am the source of my own happiness. I'm the source of that sense of fulfillment, and not the circumstances, not whether I like the situation or don't like the situation. And if that conviction becomes stronger, then we don't worry so much. All right, today is a beautiful day. Today, it's not the day that I like very much, so what? I am what I am, no matter what the changes are bringing along. I am that immovable. And the whole story is continuously changing, a moment pleasant, a moment unpleasant. Moment I like it better, a moment I like it less. If I let it come without resistance, if I let it go without a resistance, it doesn't make me suffer. Again, I'm asking, would anybody else like to come in and say something?
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
I see that some of your words became get me more clear than before.
Some of my words. Oh, my words.
Yes, what you say. Yes, it's some of your words. Yes, what you say.
Yeah.
Yes, I became get what you say. For example, about that that it doesn't matter what situation is going on. The best thing I can do is just to be here now and radiate something good, some positive, some light, some joy, and so on. And this time I feel it more in myself, and it inspires me to in my meditation that this is really now my job, just to connect and just to radiate love and quietness, because I often meet some worries and some situations, and I ask myself, what is the best thing I can do? Just to be quiet and to be acceptive and yes, and sense. And I try to to feel this inside me. I can't say that it is easy. No, it's not easy, but it just gives me this direction, and it motivates me very much. Today I have a lot of doubts in one situation. I didn't know how I behaved, if I was right or wrong, and it really affects me. In my body, I felt tension and so on. Yes, and I felt and remembered that the best thing I can do is just to radiate this calmness and love, and to be in this connection. And if I see that I did wrong, I get the question and I can change something, or I can stop thinking about this situation. So this is the main thing, just to be in this calmness. This is, yes, this is the main thing. I said I tried to be in it. I can't say it was not easy at all. I was not a good example of this source of calmness, and I felt all my tensions and a lot of thoughts, but in spite of it, I felt that this is I doing right. I don't know why, but this feeling that this is what I should do, that this is right. And it was amazing for me, because only 2 days ago I wanted to ask you a question again that often I ask you because I often have doubts about my meditation, that if I doing right or not, because when I sit in my Sodao, I feel very I felt a lot of difficulties and didn't know if I should do it, or maybe I stop, maybe it's not useful to sit, or maybe I much think that try to meditate and so on. I have these doubts again, but today I got this answer that it doesn't matter that how it goes on, if it is good or not good, my meditation, that it doesn't matter. I just go ahead, and if I don't torment myself, if I don't push myself, yes, I just feel it inside that I should go on, that then this is correct, whatever the result I have. Yes, this is what I wanted to share, and I thank you very much.
Yes, and you are totally right. It's not about having good meditations, but sitting helps you to be more alert and to connect easier. And if you do that every day for some time, then you have like an underneath current that you are feeding all the time that helps you with all the other things. So definitely you are right. Just continue, even when you feel that now for some time you have good meditations, and even if you feel now for sometimes my meditation is not so fantastic, you still can increase when you have more time and more inspiration, and decrease when you have less time and less inspiration. But definitely it's helpful if you keep going every day, having some time to just connect. And when you are not busy with anything else, it simply makes it easier to remember. And if you have that everyday time, then after that, it's also becoming easier to do the same thing in your actions. And you said you slowly start to more also become aware in your actions, that you, the more important thing is that you worry so much the right or the wrong to connect, be aware, and live from that perspective, breathe from that perspective, act from that perspective, and live your life from that perspective. And then actions will come easier and easier. And your first job that matters, to connect, to go dive deeper into that awareness of your essence. That is the main importance. And then you can do all the things that needs to be done day after day. What you have to do in the playing the role that you are playing. But it will flow easier, and you bring something very beautiful and very lightful, creative into it, if you keep that awareness of yourself.
Thank you, Werner. I try.
Yes.
I try to do it in spite of. Yes.
You sure do. And even if then sometimes it happens that you did something, and then after that you think, oh my God, was I right? Was I wrong? Was I right? Was I wrong? Then if it's not clearly coming up, then just drop it for the moment, let it hang there, and come back to yourself and accept whether it was the best thing or not the best thing. You didn't do it with bad intentions, and that is what matters. And if down the road you become aware, okay, it wasn't a fortunate action what I did, maybe the way I talked, and you will see it needs to be repaired a bit, maybe by apologizing, maybe by doing something about it. Okay, then do it. And if you see, okay, it was not the best thing, but anyhow, it has happened and it's past, never mind. Now is now, and now you're acting again fresh.
Yes. Thank you very much, Werner, for your inspiration. Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari. All right, my friends, is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome.
Yeah, it's me again.
Yes,
Yeah.
Signora.
Since nobody.
Yeah.
Something about what Nelly spoke about, regretting about things I said or things I did or way I behaved. So right away, I'm so much better in coping with this phenomena or habit. And I listened carefully now. What happens is it comes this sense of regret, and then right away there is a story building up very fast about it. What the person will think, and well, maybe the friendship is over, and maybe they thought I was stupid, and blah blah blah. And yes, I am stupid or not. A story. So one thing that really helps me is reminding myself that usually, at least I don't remember so much of what people told me. There is an interaction. Maybe I remember the facts, but I don't remember every sentence or every impression they made, or I remember if it was pleasant or unpleasant, but I assume that maybe they also don't remember so much of what I said. I don't know, but I assume, unless it was something really extreme, like a crash or yeah. Otherwise, yeah, we had a good time, but then I go, they go, and fine. And another thing was it felt like every time this happens is like literally putting a knife in my body. And this is something I can stop doing. So
Like you say the regret is putting a knife in your body.
yeah, the
Yeah.
regret and the story that comes with it.
Yeah, right.
And another thing is maybe I feel so bad about it, but maybe again they haven't noticed, or they are soft in their heart and they just accept. It's also a reflection of my reactions. It's like a loop, sort of. And I don't really know if I feel I hurt somebody. I'm not sure. Usually, as you said, as Nelly said, it comes from altogether good intentions when I interact. But sometimes, okay. Like Lila, my teacher used to say, it's not a mistake. Even that, it's not a mistake. Okay, so you said something, but it's not a mistake. It's okay. So it's becoming easier and easier, but I still, even when I talk about it, I can feel this pain of like this knife.
Mm.
It's quite aggressive thing to do to ourselves.
Right. It's
The way we do it, the way we do it.
right. That when suddenly we become aware, oh, what I did there, it was not necessary, it was unnecessarily hurtful, and there comes a moment of regret invariably, but there's nothing wrong with that. Then if you see the situation and you see your reaction of regret in that moment, and then you accept, okay, it was as it was, I didn't do I didn't play my best part there, then so what? You are wiser for the experience and you let it go. And if somehow it's necessary, we feel, oh, there is really something I put in motion and it's better that I do something, then we can do something and connect with people and apologize and say, listen, I see I wasn't right. If I have hurt you, then I apologize and already things are fine. But many times it's not necessary and we still have the tendency to hold on to regret. I didn't act the best, I acted wrong. And this actually is also the personality that is asserting it. It's not coming from yourself. It's coming from the me, I personality, and I want to be perfect, a good personality, and there I made a blunder, and so it keeps on irking me. And even if in the beginning I regret because maybe I hurt somebody, after that I regret without quite knowing, the regret stays there, but actually I regret that I'm not as beautiful, shining a personality that as I would like to be. It's still the personality that keeps it alive. It will come as a reaction if you become aware, okay, there I did something, it caused pain and I regret. Then that regret is a wake-up call. Okay, I understand. I see the situation. I learn from it. I'm wiser for it, and I can let it go. But then holding on to the regret and turning it around is again the me. The identification with the personality. And there you need not think that yes, I did something wrong and now I have to punish myself and feel regret and on and on and on, keep it up. But no, you become aware, it came, you let it go, and then it's the past, and now you are again new and fresh and need not hold on to whatever has happened.
Yeah, also I say to myself, anyway, it passed and I can't do much about it. And so, I mean, I can't do, as you say, in some cases that I, of course, can apologize if it's necessary, but I can't change the past. There's no way to change the past. It's also a story, of course. Yesterday, again, my daughter-in-law, her children are 7 and 4. She said to me, there are 2 things I regret that I did or didn't do. One with her, one with him. She said, so I said to her, when you reach my age, I told her, you know how many things I can regret about what I did with my children. I mean, you know, it's like, it's a history. And I told her, I just like, don't get into it because what's the point, really? What's the point? The past is gone. If there is something that we can define as past and future and present, of course, there is a question about it, but still, it's gone. What I said to you 5 minutes ago is gone.
Yes. Right.
So what's the point?
What's the point? It's not real. It's just a memory, the past. The future is not real. It's just an expectation. Only now you're alive. Now there is that something so totally special, that living quality. And you come back to that. Now, if somebody has a big regret, they may not be capable of just letting it go and be in the now. And if it's a story, they have to somehow work on it, then maybe they may have to do some work with it, but not in the sense to keep on holding and think, oh, I regret, I did something wrong. But because I keep on holding to that regret, I need to do some work for it, on it, that I can let it go. Not try to suppress it. Okay, the memory is there and I learn from it, but it is a memory. It's not real. There's so a totally different quality. The moment now is alive. You breathe, you feel, you think, you taste, you are alive. There is that incredible quality there right now. And the past is just a memory. It has no reality, but we feed our emotions into it and create a reality out of that memory that it doesn't deserve. It's simply a memory. It's only in the mind.
Yeah, so it's not connected with the senses as you just mentioned now. There's, I think it's 5 or 6 gates of the senses. The way you described it now also is a bit new for me, like about the present and the senses. Because, as you say, when it's a memory, it's only a memory.
We may conjure up emotions with the memory, and these emotions are again now in the present, and you can deal with them. But but we feed so much energy into those memories, into the past, that is draining, that we are trying to create a reality that it doesn't deserve. It is simply a memory. It's gone. It's now that you are touching reality, and only now. There's only that one point you are touching reality. Now, timelessly now.
Yes.
All else is in the mind.
It's very powerful.
And all the, right, I mentioned the sentence, you in the now, There are feelings, there are thoughts, there is silence, there are the emotions, there are the sense perceptions, there is the story that lights up for that moment because you are there perceiving. For a moment, it's real as an experience. And after the moment, even a moment later, that same situation is just a memory. It's totally different category.
Right. Right.
So when the past is
Yeah.
bugging us, then if it's bugging too much, if we have attached too much energy into it, sometimes we have to take the trouble to let the memories come and all the emotions come, but then don't get lost in the past again, but be aware now. What is this memory doing? What are these emotions doing now? And learn to relax. And then that stuff that is still locked into it and that keeps disturbing, gradually, it may in one time go, or we may many times connect with the same thing. But if we are doing that every time, the power that it has over us is diminishing, and finally it's what it is, a memory. A memory which is there as a storehouse of information from which we can draw wisdom in the now. It's nothing wrong with the memory, but it's wrong to make a reality out of the memory that it does not deserve. It's just in the mind.
Okay, so when you just said now to make a reality, but yeah, of course I have a question about this too. I don't make a reality. I mean, I don't make a reality. I don't know what it is even now when you speak like reality. I do feel though that when I tell stories about, let's say, my childhood, I'm not so emotionally involved anymore. I don't feel myself so miserable anymore. But for some reason, I still have the need to talk about it and to tell about it. And then it does feel like reality. I mean, it happened. But when more and more I listen to you, then I say, of course I ask, so what is reality? I mean, when I express my impression, my mind, my whatever I express, my thoughts.
When you tell your stories of your childhood and it feels real, actually what you are doing, you are drawing information from the memory of your childhood and you are bringing an emotion up now, and that is real now as an experience. And then we can become very inspired or very emotional telling a story, but the experience is now. We're just drawing from the past. The past is not real, not more real than a memory is. It's not having that living quality at all that this present moment has.
Yeah, okay. I have to be with this. It's beautiful how you put it together and yeah, express it. Yeah, powerful.
And the more you become aware of this, the less power have regrets. They come, they are there as a wake-up call, fine, okay, but you let it go because you become aware, okay, it's already past. It's a memory. I can draw wisdom from it, but it's just a memory, and only now you're touching reality.
I sat with the teacher in Gaia House. He's a monk. He's the head of a monastery someplace in South England, and he told me that when we become older, we don't have so much to think about of the future, and we tend to be occupied with memories. I remember that it was, I don't know when, 4 years ago maybe. There isn't so much to think about the future unless we have fears about the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, just wanted to mention it. I don't think so much about the past, but yeah, I just wanted to. I could be occupied thinking about the past but I'm more in the present. I'm more in the present.
And if the thoughts come, let them be there a moment, let them go, but you become aware these are thoughts, they come, they go, you simply are. And then you can also just be in the present, not thinking about
Yeah.
the past or future, simply be.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we better stop for today with that.
Yeah.
Hurry up, hurry up.
Have you?
I see the time has advanced. If anybody has a short question, we can do so. Seems not to be the case.
Hi.
Ah, there is Andreas.
Is there any value in if you become conscious of some things, the way your personality is put up, even if it's embarrassing? Because I tend to analyze myself a lot, and then a lot of times I'm like, oh, okay, this is like, I'm not so perfect.
Yes, it can be very helpful if then in that process you become aware, oh, actually, it has always handicapped my present. It has always influenced the way I'm acting, the way I am reacting, the way I'm handicapping my potential. And then that becoming aware of these aspects of the personality is very useful. Then once we are aware, we can work on it to let them go, to stop doing that, to stop handicapping. But it can also become a little bit an obsession to always go and dig out, and that one is also there, and this one is also there. And as a rule of thumb, I would say just be in the present. And then that stuff that needs to be worked on will come and nag and disturb all by itself. And there you give attention to it and maybe, if necessary, analyze and look at it and become aware how it has been influencing you in ways that you don't necessarily want, and then you learn to let it go. In that sense, that analyzing, that looking at it is helpful, but we don't have to get like obsessed and try and figure out a little more this and a little more that, and then actually that energy is again totally, it's a jungle that has no end. We can go on and on and on and on. That energy we could bring back to use better in consciously being in the present. But sometimes certain aspects, they are just disturbing all the time. And there we don't get around to have an honest, good look at it and see. And sometimes it's very, very embarrassing what we are seeing, because we like to have a good image about ourselves. And once we start to honestly look, then we become aware, it doesn't quite fit the bill of my glorious self-image that I try to paint. So it may be sometimes very unpleasant. to look at the personality, at aspects of the personality. But if we do it in a good spirit, then it helps us to let go, to detach from whatever keeps us back, from whatever keeps us locked in to our personal experience.
Yeah. A lot of times I'm blocked by low self-esteem, I find.
Yes.
And it's so difficult to to get out of it.
Because then we always try to build up self-esteem by convincing ourselves about our qualities, and then we are often disappointed about how we are acting, not up to the qualities. But then come back and remember what I said at the beginning of this satsang. Faith in your own potential is not coming out of building up a nice, very nice picture about myself. Faith in your own potential comes that I learn to connect with the sense and relax. And there I feel there is something powerful, something immovable, something that cannot be shaken. And the more you turn the attention to that, the more that question of self-esteem is rather disappearing. It's not that we have to build it up and build it up by telling ourselves nice stories about our personality in order to neutralize the not nice stories about our personality, but become aware, hey, I'm so much more than this personality. I am here prior to that, timeless, spaceless, and the personality is just a momentary role that I'm playing. So let's go about it playful and not take it so serious.
Yeah, this is happening to a certain degree, but sometimes I find it helpful that I have like that I'm friendly with myself, that I'm not so yeah, with the if there are embarrassing aspects come up, and that I'm just like, yeah, watch myself friendly and in a caring and warm mood.
Sure, sure. I'm not saying you should become your own enemy now all the time. But right, when you can do so, and you see it in a friendly way, but if there are tendencies that are embarrassing, then somehow they are disturbing you. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel embarrassed. And so, still, you can use that awareness of them, that embarrassment, to make the first steps to take a bit of step back and detach from them. And that you can do in a very nice and friendly way. You don't have to punish yourself.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much again.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Well, I think we have covered enough for one time. So let us stop the satsang with that for today. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.